Hello and welcome to Feminine Success Secrets, the place women come to become powerfully feminine. I'm Candice Oneida. So why am I talking to you from my bed today? Well, it's because I've pretty much been in my bed for the last 7 days. I fell off the self-care wagon, ironically, as I was about to do a series on self-care. So I could have called this video Confessions of a Workaholic, Confessions of a Doaholic, Confessions of a Man-Motorholic, or Confessions of a Servaholic. Now, in this video today, what I really want to do is I'm the prophetess of the future, okay? If you are younger than me, then know that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to live like this. You don't have to do like this. There is a different way that actually creates more space. Literally, it's literally like you create more space in your life than you think possible. The last month for me was unusually where I had 3 out of 4 weekends doing something work-like. Now what I mean by that, so the first weekend I was assisting a very dear friend's workshop. The second weekend I started filming for my new program, the Powerfully Feminine Intensive. And then the third weekend I was assisting at a meditation workshop. So that's 3 weekends out of 4 that I didn't have off, and then I had a normal working week and client schedule and everything else happening in the week. Now, I usually wouldn't plan things like that, but the cards fell like that. And on the other end of that, so right after the meditation workshop, I collapsed. And as they often say, the teacher doesn't do what they preach, do what you preach, do what you teach. And so I knew that that wasn't going to be a good idea, but I thought I could handle it. And for those of you that don't know my story, I had a corporate career lasting 12, 13 years in Australia as a corporate commercial designer. And then I've been an entrepreneur since then for the last 20 odd years. And I did it all from man mode. So in my early 40s, I royally burnt out and my body shut down. It sent me into early menopause, and clearly, frankly, I'm still in recovery from that. Now, whether I'm still recovering from that or, I'm not 25 anymore, my body will tell me very fast, this is not okay anymore, sister. You cannot do this anymore. You cannot work like this. You cannot not allow out-breath. You cannot create a life where there's no space and digestion. And yet that's what I did for the last month. Ergo, why you're in bed with me right now. So I just sat there going, okay, self-care is one of the big things I've had to learn, if I'm really honest with you. I've really had to learn about self-care, and I fell off the wagon. One thing I realized in my reflection in this exhaustion I've been in is my body doesn't know the difference between when I'm in service and when I'm doing my normal work. So although it's lovely and I really have a want to serve and to serve more, my body doesn't know the difference. It's just doing, it's just activity, it's just going, as I say, in breath, in breath, in breath, in breath, with no out breath. And my body doesn't know the difference. And then, like I have told you for ages on this channel, the thing is, when we don't allow out-breath as women, when we don't give ourselves space to digest, when we don't give ourselves space for creativity, we don't give ourselves space to share ourselves, our energy, and with others, space to nourish, then our body just is not designed for that. Now, if that's hard for you to hear, if this is the first time you've ever heard me before, it's just a fact, in terms of our hormonal makeup alone is different than men's. And so one of the things in my research from my own crash in my 40s was our hormone system is different. We don't have the amount of testosterone men do. We're not built to compete, fight and win in the way that most of the business world is set up on, right? And so it ain't good for us. It's not good for us. Our bodies end up under massive cortisol stress. The cortisol will do things like it has done for me this month, and it will shut you down. Now, if you're in your 20s or 30s, like when I was in my 20s or 30s, I just ignored the signals and I just plowed through. Now, there's two ways of looking at that. If you look at it from the sort of Chinese and the Taoist system, the truth was, although I could in my 20s and 30s, unfortunately actually what was happening was I was burning Jing. I was burning core essential energies that can get burnt out, that certain types of the Jing don't recover. So I was haplessly burning my Jing out in my 20s and 30s, working super hard, long hours, constant doing, constant going, and my body just went not okay by my 40s. And since then, she gives me uber strong signals when I am going off track. And I have just been in one, and I'm still recovering from that, if I have to be honest. I'm able to handle my client schedule, and that's about it right now. It's not worth it. You see, the funny thing is I'm losing time because of that. And I've had to just throw down the towel and agree with it because it really hit me very hard. So it's this sort of misconception, this misnomer that, well, I don't have time to take space. I don't have time to outbreathe. I don't have time to be creative. I don't have time to spend with friends. Well, your body's going to create time eventually, and wouldn't it be much nicer if it was done when and how you'd like to, if that makes sense. So when you get to choose how to have that out-breath time, rather than, like me, lying down here, reading, exhausted, sleeping, or finding myself watching Netflix. I don't like being sick. I don't like being unwell. I fight it. And that's another thing I used to do. I would fight those signals. They'd come up in my body and I'd go, nope, that's not me. Not going to happen. I thought that was the thing to do, was to cope and to fight through, you know. That was kind of the world I was brought up in, was that kind of mentality. Because the world around us tries to tell us we have limits of time, we have limits of energy, we have limits of creativity, we have limits of intelligence, all of these things. And in fact, the truth is, in terms of feminine power, it's a way of learning how to literally expand those boundaries. And of course, you know, I find myself talking to myself right now, reminding myself, and that as we sort of expand these boundaries, something feels very different when you allow yourself, give yourself permission to do that. Allow yourself time and space for your creativity. Allow yourself time and space with your lover. Don't shorten the sexual interactions. Make them long and deep and languorous and juicy. Allow personal time with people you love. Listen to them. Be still. Share with them. Stop having that clock going off in your head saying, but I've got to get... who cares, right? So... You know, they've done studies and have interviewed people that are on their deathbed and said, what do you regret? What do you regret in your life? And they've usually said, I don't regret anything except that I would like to have spent more time with the people that I loved. I've always found that really profound, that they realised that the things that were the most valuable to them were actually the sharing of their life with people. What I'd love you to do today is put some comments below on, well, 1, where you fall off the wagon in terms of self-care, and 2, your favourite reminder, recovery, self-care thing to do. If you could share it in the comments box below, that would be awesome. If you like the video today, give me a thumbs up. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.